Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. Now, I said it before and I'll say it again. If you don't like the way I read or you don't like my content, feel free to go to another channel. I appreciate the support and whatnot, but I don't need negative comments. Okay, so this is the story of soul singer Smokey Robinson. William Smokey Robinson Jr. was born on February 19th, 1940. Is an American R&B and soul singer, songwriter, and record producer, and former record executive. He was the founder and frontman of the all-made Motown group The Miracles, for which he was also chief songwriter and producer. He led the group from its 1955 origins, when they were called the Five Chimes, until 1972, when he retired from the group to focus on his role as Motown Records vice president. Smokey returned to the music scene as a solo artist the following year. He departed from Motown in 1999. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987 and awarded the 2016 Library of Congress Gershwin Prize for his lifetime contributions to pop music. He is double Hollywood of Fame inductee as a solo artist in 1983 and as a member of the Miracles in 2009. In 2022, he was inducted into the Black Music and Entertainment Walk of Fame. William Robinson Jr. was born to an African-American father and a mama who was African-American and French descent in a destitute family in the North End side of Detroit, Michigan. Smokey's ancestry is also part Nigerian, Scandinavian, Portuguese, and Cherokee. His uncle Claude gave him the nickname Smokey Joe when he was a child. In 2012, he explained, his uncle Claude was his favorite uncle. He was also my godfather. He and his uncle were really, really close. He used to take Smokey to see cowboy movies all the time when he was a child because he loved cowboy movies. He got a cowboy name for him, which was Smokey Joe. So from the time he was 3 years old, if people asked him what his name was, he didn't tell them his name was William. He told them his name was Smokey Joe. That's what everyone dubbed him as until he was about 12, and then he dropped the Joe part of the name. Smokey said there was a rumor that his uncle gave him the name because he is a light-skinned black man, but that's not true. He attended Northern High School, where he was above average academically and a determined athlete. However, his main interest was music, and he formed a doo-wop group named the Five Chimes. He and Aretha Franklin lived several houses down from each other, Belmont. He said he'd known Aretha since he was 5, overhearing her play the piano when he had come to play with her older brother Cecil after her family first moved to Detroit. Smokey's interest in music started during childhood, after he heard the groups Nolan Strong and the Diablos and Billy Ward and his Dominoes on the radio. He had cited Barrett Strong, a Detroit native, as a strong vocal influence. In 1955, he formed the original lineup of the Five Chimes with childhood friend Ronald White and classmate Pete Moore. 2 years later, they were renamed the Matadors and included Bobby Rogers. Another member, Emerson Sonny Rogers, Bobby Rogers' cousin, was replaced by his sister Claudette Rogers, who ended up marrying Smokey in 1959. The group's guitarist, Marv Tarplin, joined them sometime in 1958. The Matadors began touring Detroit venues around this time. Eventually, they changed their name again to The Miracles. In August 1957, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles met songwriter, producer, and record label owner Berry Gordy after a failed audition for Brunswick Records. At the time during the audition, Smokey had brought along with him a Big Ten notebook containing 100 songs he wrote while in high school. Berry Gordy was impressed with Smokey's vocals and even more impressed with his ambitious songwriting. With his assistance, the Miracles released their first single, Got a Job, an answer song to the Silhouettes' hit single, Get a Job, on N Records. It was the beginning of a long and successful collaboration. During this time, Smoke attended college and started classes in January 1959. Studying electrical engineering, he dropped out after only 2 months, following the Miracles' release of their first album. Berry Gordy formed Tamla Records, which was later reincorporated as Motown. The Miracles became one of the first acts to sign with the label, although they had actually been with Berry since before the formation of Motown Records. In late 1960, the group recorded their first hit single, Shop Around, which became Motown's first million-selling hit record. Between 1960 and 1970, Smoke would produce 26 top 40 hits with the Miracles as lead singer, chief songwriter, and producer, including several top 10 hits such as You Really Got a Hold on Me, Mickey's Monkey, I Second That, Emotion, Baby Boy Don't Cry, and the group's only #1 hit during the years with Smoke, The Years of a Clown. Other notable hits such as Ooh Baby Baby, Going to a Go-Go, the multi-award winning The Tracks of My Tears, Come Around Here, I'm the One You Need, The Love I Saw in You Was Just a Mirage, and More Love peaked in the top 20. In 1965, the Miracles were the first Motown group to change their name when they released their 1965 album, Going to a Go-Go, as Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Between 62 and 66, Smokey was one of the main songwriters and producers for Motown, writing many hit songs such as Two Lovers, The One Who Really Loves You, You Beat Me to the Punch, and My God for Mary Wells, The Way You Do the Things You Do, My Girl, Since I Lost My Baby, It's Growing, and Get Ready for the Temptations, Stillwater Love for the Four Tops, When I'm Gone, and Operator for Brenda Holloway, Don't Mess with Bill, The Hunter Gets Captured by the Game, and My Baby Must Be a Magician for the Marvelettes, and I'll Be Daggone, and Ain't That Peculiar for Marvin Gaye. After the arrival of Dozier Holland and the team of Norman Whitfield and Barrett Strong, Smokey was eclipsed as a top writer and producer for the label. And other Motown artists such as Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder began to compose more original material. Later in his career, Smoke wrote lyrics and music for the Contours such as First I Look at the Purse, as well as the Four Tops Stillwater, and the Supremes Floyd Joy. The other Miracles, Bobby Rogers, Pete Moore, Ronnie White, and Marv Tarplin collaborated with him as writers on many of these hits, and Pete Moore also doubled as co-producer of Smoke's vocals on many of them. By 1966, Smoke wanted to retire from touring to focus on raising his two kids by his wife Claudette and on his duties as Motown's vice president, a job he had taken on by the mid-60s after Esther Gordy Edwards had left the position. However, the success of the group's Tears of a Clown made Smoke stay with the group until 72. His last performance with the group was in July 72 in D.C. After a retirement, Smoke announced his comeback with the release of the eponymous Smokey album in 1973. The album concluded the Miracles tribute song, Sweet Harmony, and the hit ballad, Baby Come Close. In 1974, his second album, Pure Smokey, was released but failed to top the charts. He struggled to compete with his former collaborators Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, and former Temptations member Eddie Kendricks, as well as 3 multiple hit singles during this time. Former Beatle George Harrison featured the song Pure Smokey on his 1976 album 33 in a third as a tribute to Smoke. George Harrison's fellow Beatles, John Lennon and Paul McCartney, were also fans of Smoke's songwriting, and the group conferred You Really Got a Hold on Me on their second UK album with the Beatles and US album The Beatles' second album, respectively. Smoke answered his critics the following year with A Quiet Storm, released in 1975. The album launched 3 singles, the number 1 R&B hit, Baby That's Back at Ya, The Agony and the Ecstasy, and Quiet Storm. The radio format Quiet Storm, originated by DJ Melvin Lindsay, is named after the album. However, his solo career went downhill from his work as Motown's vice president, and his own music took the back seat. As a result, several albums, including Smokey's Family Robinson, Deep in My Soul, Love Breeze, and Smokin', saw poor promotion and received bad reviews. At that point, he relied on other writers and producers to help him with his albums. Following these albums, he got out of writer's block after his close collaborator, Marv Tarplin, who joined him on the road in 1973 after Smoke left the Miracles, presented him a tune he had composed on his guitar. Smoke later wrote the lyrics for his solo top 10 pop single, Cruisin'. The song hit number 1 in Cashbox and peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. In 1981, Smoke topped the charts again with another sensual ballad, Being With You, which was another number 1 hit in Cashbox and peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. The Gold Plus parent album sparked a partnership with George Tobin, and with George, Smoke released his next plethora of albums, Yes It's You Lady, which produced the hit Tell Me Tomorrow, Touch the Sky, and Easer. In 1983, he teamed up with Rick James, recording the R&B ballad Ebony Eyes. In 1987, following a period of personal and professional issues, Smoke made a comeback with the album One Heartbeat and the singles Just to See Her and One Heartbeat, which was a top 10 hit on Billboard's pop, soul, and adult contemporary charts. They were aided by popular music videos. Just to See Her won him his first Grammy Award in 1988. The album became one of his most successful ever, selling over 900,000 copies in the U.S. alone. He was inducted as a solo artist in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1988, later igniting controversy as the committee had inducted only Smoke and not the other members of the Miracles. which Smoke saw as an affront. In 2012, however, the committee rectified the mistake, announcing that the group would be inducted on their own merit. They didn't include Smoke as an inductee, but he inducted his former group at the ceremony in April 2012. After MCA bought out Motown in 1988, he relinquished his position as vice president. Following the release of the album Love Smokey in 1990, he left Motown for a deal with SBK Records in 1991. However, the album Double Good Everything failed to make the charts. Smoke remained quiet for the most part of the 90s, though he would make a notable cameo appearance in the Temptations miniseries in 1998, making a brief comeback in 1999 when he resigned with Motown and issued the album Intimate, which included the song Easy to Love. In 2003, he left Motown again, releasing the gospel album Food for the Spirit on Liquid 8 Records in 2004. In 2009, he released the album Time Flies When You're Having Fun on his own label, Rob Soul Records. It reached number 59 on the Billboard album chart, his highest showing since One Heartbeat. He subsequently released Now and Then in 2010, which peaked at number 131. On July 31st, 2018, Smoke appeared as a special guest on a Fox's network show, Beat Shazam, as a special guest. In 2023, he announced that he would release his first album in almost a decade in April 2023. The 9-track album called Gasms and would feature all new music. Smoke married a fellow Miracles member, Claudette Rogers, in 1959. The couple have 2 children, a son, Barry Robinson, born in 1968, named after Berry Gordy, and a daughter, Tamla Robinson, born in 1971, named after the original Tamla label set up by Berry Gordy. Smokey said in an interview that he had an affair with Diana Ross that lasted about a year while he was still married to his first wife, Claudette. He was 19 years old when he and Claudette were married. They divorced in 1986. He said he and Diana were working together and it just happened. He said it was beautiful. Diana's a beautiful lady and he loves her still to this day. She was one of his closest friends. Diana was young and trying to get her career started. He was trying to help her. Smoke was the one who brought her to Motown. He said that they weren't after each other. It would just happen. I guess they were on the same chemistry. After they were dating for a while, Diana ended their relationship. Basically, Diana felt guilty because she knew Smokey's wife Claudette and she knew he loved his wife. Smoke also has another son, Trey, born in 1984 with another woman he had an affair with while still married to Claudette. While he admitted to having fathered a child with a woman other than his wife, he filed for legal separation and later filed for divorce. That was finalized in 1986. The Robinsons had also separated in 1974. During that hiatus, Smoke had an extramarital affair that inspired the song The Agony and the Ecstasy, later featured on Quiet Storm radio station. He married Frances Gladney in May 2002. They own a home in Pittsburgh and use it as a winery. Smoke doesn't eat red meat. He hasn't eaten it since 1972. He practices transcendental meditation. He has golden green eyes, which he believes were passed down from his French great-grandmother. Beginning in November 2023, Smoke is the current owner and host of the Sirius XM channel Soul Town, a station that plays R&B and soul hits from the 50s to the early 80s. Released under the banner Smokey Soul Town, he occasionally appears on the channel, recalling his best moments with Motown and meeting other artists, as well as his pick of favorite songs during that period. On February 22, 1983, he was awarded an individual star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In 1991, he won the Heritage Award at the Soul Train Music Awards. In 2005, he was voted into the Michigan Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame. On March 20, 2009, the Miracles were finally honored as a group with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Smoke was present with all original members of the Miracles, Bobby Rogers, Pete Moore, Bobby's cousin Claudette Rogers, and Gloria White, who was accepting for her husband, the late Ronnie White, whose daughter Pamela and granddaughter Maya were there representing him as well. Ronnie White passed away from leukemia on August 26, 1995 at the age of 57. Smoke's replacement, 1970s Miracles lead singer Billy Griffin, was also honored. Controversially, original member of the Miracles Marv Tarplin wasn't honored, against the wishes of his fellow Miracles and group's fans who felt that he should have also been there to share the honor. Later, Marv was honored with a star. He was also inducted with the rest of the original Miracles, Bobby Rogers, Pete Moore, Ronnie White, and Claudette Robinson, into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2012. 25 years after Smokey Robinson's controversial solo induction in 1987, He was also awarded the Society of Singers Lifetime Achievement Award in 2011. In 2009, he received an honorary doctorate degree with Linda Rosenthal and gave a commencement speech at Berklee College of Music's commencement ceremony. In 2015, he was given a BET Lifetime Achievement Award. In 2023, Rolling Stone ranked Smoke at number 23 on their list of the 200 greatest singers of all time. Okay, y'all, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.